What would happen if young people, in their millions, rose up to claim their space as active citizens taking control of their future? If hundreds of thousands of young people stepped up to register as first-time voters? If millions expressed themselves, their ambitions, and cast a ballot for their futures, as one movement, taking responsibility for the fate of a nation.
The XYZ campaign was built on the realization that despite the fact that young people constitute the majority of the total population of this country, their participation in electoral processes has been very apathetic.
This time around we are saying, young people, come out in your numbers and participate. We want to hear your voice because you are the ones who determine the future and the now of this country.
This campaign is necessary on the basis that the culture of youth participation in political processes has been very dull lately. So we don't want a situation whereby few people in Zimbabwe decide on behalf of everyone. We want everyone to participate so that the national building process is not in the hands of the few, but it's owned by everyone.
A consortium of 4 Zimbabwean organizations set up a campaign to help mobilize young people to get registered and to vote in the elections. The campaign would be called Vote Young Zimbabwe, or just XYZ. After several days and nights of planning, the campaign was ready to be rolled out. Small teams of young people traveled across the country to inspire active civic participation in a generation of young voters. Popular culture and celebrities were used to attract thousands of young people in massive outdoor concerts in strategic locations around the country.
It's your right to vote and to be a Zimbabwean. You have to speak out your mind.
The issue is voter registration is always important as a youth because sometimes they complain about issues and we don't really do anything about them. So I think it's high time as youth still register as voting. Catch someone. Your ex is important sometimes in life. So as a youth, sometimes it's up to us. And it's important. And that's the day they realize that our politicians because they have to win us.
Because njengakhathesi masikhangela ukuthi impilo esiphilayo khathesi le impilo yakudala ngani sokuchiyene because into ziyaguquka sonke isikhathi. So kumele siyazi ukuthi kumele siyenzeni sikhambe siyevote ukuze siyazi ukuthi mbani oyabe right kithi ukuthi simbone ukuthi ungcono kithi ukuthi enze esikhokhele ngumkhokheli wethu njengabo olutsha.
So if I vote for the right person, if I vote for my own choice, then yes, I'll be happy to say I'm taking part in my own life.
The major challenges that are facing young people today are around issues of employment. So how do they hold the government that is coming into place accountable, and how do they demand rights as young people?
Could you please tell the audience why you believe your political party is the party of choice for young people, and what makes you different from other political parties?
As a party, we have a very serious youth policy.
The youth is a very key component within ZANU-PF. In fact, we call them the vanguard of the liberation struggle.
We are and will continue to disabuse young people from engaging in violence.
think it's important to understand that debate by its nature is engagement related, and I think that it gives young people an opportunity to engage with the election process.
Social media does not require anybody to congregate publicly, which exposes young people to the dangers of such congregation. As you would know, there are laws in Zimbabwe that prohibit the coming together of huge groups of young people to engage on sensitive issues.
The global political tides are shifting. It is without doubt that young people across nations are beginning to play a more visible role in national decision-making, determining the future of their communities and their countries, and Zimbabwe is no exception. Everyone wants to make a difference, but not everyone has the means.
So there's a lot of work that needs to be done. You see, there's often a view that, well, because there's social media, you automatically have access to young people. I don't think that is the fact. Social media needs to complement what other initiatives have been doing. So for instance, if the intention is to mobilize young people, social media will not work if you wait for 2018 as a starting point. You need to build that engagement with young people over a long period of time.
The kind of impact that this project had in that short period of time, one would be tempted to say that had we done this project 12 months or so, then we will be talking about a huge impact.
So I think the process should actually start with conversation and to be able to create confidence, especially in young people, about the process and all the other things, and for them to see value in 5 years' time of them casting the vote.
There are other elements around advocates that we didn't really look at that much. Advocates targeted at the electoral body itself in Zimbabwe, advocates targeted at the regional and the international community and many other institutions that were concerned with this election. We need to address that. By the time we get to 2018, we will no longer be where we are currently, where the limitations of social media around, interest areas, around just sharing information, but we may get to a point where social media is actually an effective tool in ensuring that there is forensic observation of elections. We are likely to see a movement from just using social media for mobilization, but also using social media to track electoral processes. And this is the function, for me, that young people need to slowly be working towards.
It will be very difficult for us to mobilize again for 2018 elections. So we need to start putting in place mechanisms to make sure that we have an electoral system that people believe in, and we have people going out to vote. But more importantly, in the short run, we need to engage whoever is there and continue to push a youth agenda.
Young people still need to be interested. Young people still need to dialogue. Young people still need to meet and engage with policymakers as we did. It may take us 20 years to be heard, but I think people shouldn't tire